listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast about one of the most legendary bands of all time, Deep Purple. We take a look at the music, history, and people behind the band Deep Purple and beyond. Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, the first and only podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 277, James Gang, live on TV, 1974. And coming to you from the suburbs of Chicago, where the cicadas are slowly dying, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, where I'm losing my mind and also my patience, John Stars and Stripes Matola.
Oh, is it because as we record this, it's close to... Oh, no, wait, is it because of a state?
Yes, and it just happened to fall on being close to July 4th.
Is it Maryland?
Yep. Wow.
Yay!
You're so... Yay, I did it. You're so... Well, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, you're more well-read than I am.
Well, my cousin lived in Maryland, and I remember we went to go see whatever the fort was there, that's where it was, like, right in that, when Baby was in the Baltimore Harbor, where they had the fight and the rockets red glare, and that's where Francis Scott Key wrote the song or something.
Yep. The birthplace of the national anthem, written in Fort McHenry.
Well, yeah, there you go. Okay.
During the War of 1812.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
So there you go. There's a mouthful of facts for you.
I just remember they showed this, like, really inspirational video when I was, like, a kid, and me and my mom were in there. I don't think my dad was there for some reason, but we were visiting my cousin, and my mom's cousin and my cousin. And that's the cousin that I've talked about on the show before, my cousin Robbie, who sadly passed away, but got me into a lot of this kind of music, introduced me to Metallica and the Fat Boys. So oddly.
Two polar opposites on the spectrum.
Yeah, exactly. It was when we were younger that he introduced me to the Fat Boys. Then I went to go see him a couple summers later, and is like, if you like that, you're going to love this. And
it's like, what do you like? Metallica and the Fat Boys?
He's like, if you really like the Fat Boys are back, you're going to love this new thing I discovered. It's called Master of Puppets. And and I remember we went to go, it must have been to Fort McHenry, and they played this little video, and I remember my mom was like, had like a little tear coming down at the end of the video about the rocket's red glare. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's the only reason I remember. I would never have known that other than that little visit when I was a kid. But yeah, here we are at you folks. In Deep Purple Podcast is in our summer session. John and I are banking these episodes before we head off for our summer plans. John's on summer vacation. I'm on summer vacation. We're meeting once in July to record for the new, what you have already listened to, our review on the new Deep Purple album, which you remember from a few episodes ago, right?
Oh yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, yes. We could like cut it in. We really liked or didn't like that album. From what I've heard so far, I can't imagine we wouldn't like it, but
yeah, I can't imagine we wouldn't like the album.
Or like. I'll fix this all in post, depending on how that works out. But hey, the Deep Purple Podcast. I'm thinking of Durple Purple already. The Deep Purple Podcast is 100% listener supported and ad free. So if you receive some value from our show, please consider giving us some value back. You can support our show a number of ways. One is by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can also buy some merch at our Etsy store, become a patron on Patreon or on PayPal, and you can also just send us some cash on Cash App at $DPPOD, or support us on Ko-fi. And we appreciate all of our wonderful listeners and supporters who make the show possible. If you decide to become a patron, you get access to our rating spreadsheet. You get access to our patrons only Discord. You get access to watching us live on our live streams, including all of our live stream episodes and our rankings episodes, getting your rankings in and read on the show for when we rank albums. And yeah, the next one coming up will be, it's still the Deep Purple, the third album, which is going to be coming in pretty soon. I think in a couple of episodes from this one, we'll be ranking the third album. Then we'll get into the real serious stuff, the Mark II stuff, which I know a lot of people are getting interested. I know a lot of people are like, I'll become a patron when it's time to rank in rock. That's when they're going to join. But speaking of patrons, coming in at the in memoriam tier, the wonderful late Gerald Jerry Kelly and family. At the $25 uncommon man tier, we have Ovis Nakvi and Purple Maniac. At the 15 squid tier, we have Alan. At the 10-pound good doctor tier, we have Dr. Mike Catan. And at the turn it up to $11 tier, Clay Wambacher, Frank Thielgard, Mortensen, Mickelstein, Will Porter, PhDPP, Michael, don't call him Bradford Bagford. And at the $10 someone came tier, Ryan M., Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, better call Saul Evans. Peter from Illinois. And at the Hughes-a-ween by 2033 tier, we have Fielding Fowler. So to do some more housekeeping, our upcoming shows and listener meetup, August 15th, meet up with Lady Starstruck at the Tampa, Florida show. Deep Purple's playing at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Tampa. I didn't realize they had one in Tampa too. We saw them at the Hollywood one. I'm assuming the Tampa one is better because Tampa is just better than Hollywood. Hollywood was, well, the casino was fine, I guess. At August 20, John's like, Roger didn't really think so.
Yeah, well, I mean,
didn't he say when we saw him last? Didn't he say when we referenced seeing him before? He was like, "Oh yeah, it was at that horrible casino."
It was. I mean. Well,
I mean, it was, as far as casinos go, I think it was fine. I just don't think, judging on his reaction to the casino and Ian Pace's discussion, I don't think they love casinos very much.
No, well, I mean, what a great story though to be like, I had lunch with Roger Glover on my birthday, but then if somebody followed up with like, "What did you have for lunch?" I would be really embarrassed to say.
It was horrible. It was like cafeteria style Chinese food.
Oh God, we're just all like, blah.
Yeah, well, I was still reeling from the night before, so I don't think I ate much. I think I mostly just pushed food around on my plate. That wasn't what I needed after the night we had of just drinking a lot and not eating anything. It was just but I wouldn't trade it for the world. What a great night.
Yeah,
August 22nd, we're meeting up with Rich and Scott, the Detroit, Michigan show at the Michigan Lottery Amphitheater at Freedom Hill, Sterling Heights, Michigan. So if you're going to be there, meet up there. And then we're jumping in the car and driving to Illinois, where we're going to, I was going to say meet up again, but I guess we're all going to be together. Still at the Deep, not at the Deep Purple. It hasn't been renamed the Deep Purple Amphitheater yet. It's at the Credit Union One Amphitheater in Tinley Park, Illinois. Hopefully I didn't give away too much about Deep Purple buying the name out.
I was going to say before, like, I'll meet up with you guys again because my memory is so horrible that I'll have forgotten that I was with you. And,
you'll forget that you spent 5 hours in a car with us.
I'll just like wake up. Hey guys.
Oh, hey, what are you guys doing here in the back of Nate's car? Then it looks like, so I looked and Glenn Hughes is playing at the Vixen in McHenry, Illinois, September 17th. Whether or not I will be going to that, because it's about an hour and a half from here. So I don't know if I'll be going to that or not, but we'll see. And then Deep Purple has some potential UK patron meetups in the fall. So keep in touch, all of our UK listeners. Let us know what shows you're going to be at so we can help you coordinate meeting up. And then, as I previously stated, upcoming rankings show, the third album, the self-titled, the titular Deep Purple album, Get us your rankings. You don't have much time as of the airing of this, but get them in. Become a patron if you want to get them in, and we'll be discussing that album shortly, I think in a couple of episodes. And then check out deepdivepodcastnetwork.com for other like-minded shows on other rock bands, rock acts, etc. Great guys, great shows. Rye has been back doing some Sabbath seances on Sabbath Bloody Podcast, so it's been a while since he's been popping up in the feed. So it's nice when I, with him and Skinnerd Reconsidered, you just never know. You just put on your podcast player and it's like, oh my God, there's a new episode out of nowhere. I get to listen to it. So those guys are on a bit of a haphazard schedule, to say the least, but it's always a treat when you get one of their episodes in the feed. Okay. So here we are. We're here to talk about a couple of, or maybe a few TV appearances that the James Gang made in early 1974 with Tommy Bolin and the band. And we got a couple of videos and obviously audio to listen to of their performances on these shows. John, have you heard any live James Gang stuff?
With Tommy, I don't think so, unless it was on one of his archives CDs, maybe, but I can't really remember. But no, I wasn't even aware that they made any TV appearances with him.
So they did a couple. So the first one we're going to talk about is this Midnight Special is the name of the show. I'll just tell you, Burt Sugarman's The Midnight Special. I just love that. Burt Sugarman just sounds like a good time. Oops, I'm showing the wrong one. Never mind. Don't look at that. Ignore. Here is Burt Sugarman, The Midnight Special. That's the TV logo there for you. The Midnight Special. So this show was started in 1972, produced by, you guessed it, Burt Sugarman, the one and only.
Why does he sound like that?
Because, I mean, what, he has to sound like that. Hey, Burt Sugarman here. I'm looking at putting up a special, you see? It's going to be, there's a lot of these young kids and they do that rock and roll music. I want to put it on the television, let everybody see it, see these great rock bands. It's going to be sensational.
But it's only going to air at midnight.
Midnight. Actually, funnily enough, aired at 1 a.m. So it was like after the Friday night edition of The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, boom, it went right into the Midnight Special. And you got to see this collection of different rock acts and stuff. So the Midnight Special one is kind of interesting. So I'll put up a link. This full episode is actually available on YouTube. They've got like a YouTube channel where they air some of these old shows. This one was hosted by Wolfman Jack. He was a frequent guest host and announcer on the show. And it has like a bunch of different ones. And this particular episode is actually kind of amazing, the lineup they have. So starts off with Steve Miller Band, goes into James Gang, then does Brownsville Station Smoking in the Boys Room, James Cotton Band, Tim Buckley, Steve Miller again doing Shuba Doo Da Mama. I'm not familiar with that song.
It sounded like you just said a bunch of nonsense, which was really funny.
I guess I did. I'm sure there's like a rhythm to it that I'm getting wrong. Although Shuba Da Doo Mama Mama.
Joey Jojo Junior Shabadoo.
Yes, exactly. I think it was. I remember when I don't know why I just had this memory. So my friend, our friend Scott's daughter, had come when the boys were really little, and she was probably like 5 or so, and she was going to read them a book, and we had this book that was called Moo Ba Fa La La, and it was like about farm animals, but there was like a comma between everyone. And it's just like the natural thing you do is say moo ba fa la la, because fa la la, but she had never heard that. So she was seeing all the commas, and I think she had probably just, starting to learn how to read, and you'd put a comma. So she's like, okay, let's read the book. It's called Moo Ba Fa La La. I just thought it was hilarious the way she paused before every one. So yeah, so we got Steve Miller, Shabadooda Bang Bang, and Spotify's been recommending Steve Miller to me lately for some reason. Genesis, and this is like that weird Genesis phase where Peter Gabriel has the makeup and the hair's like shaved like a Shaolin monk. You know what I'm talking about? Whereas like hair is all shaved back.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know that he did that.
Oh yeah, well if you saw it, you'd remember it. Then they've got James Cotton Band, Steve Miller again, Genesis again, Tim Buckley again, and then Steve Miller again. So it's kind of these like ping-ponging back and forth between all of these acts. So kind of a cool, this is pre-MTV, a cool way to experience new bands, see them live, and kind of see what they're all about. So we got that. And the song that we're going to watch first is the track It Must Be Love. And yeah, I think that's about it. So Midnight Special, again, it ran from 1972 to 1981. Had a lot of acts. Kiss was on there. I noticed.
I was just going to say Kiss was on it.
Yeah. Yep. Do you remember? Have you seen that one before? Or?
Oh yeah. I mean, this was like back in the days of tape trading and everything. This was on one of the they would at like record shows and stuff like that, they would have these VHS compilations of stuff it was like TV appearances and stuff taped off TV. So there was like this one, Don Kirshner's rock concert was another one, like early appearances. There was one on the
that's the one we're doing next. Don Kirshner, I think, is gonna have the same voice as Bert Sugarman. Don Kirshner here. I got a great idea for you. I got it from Bert Sugarman.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I was aware of the Midnight Special, but I don't think I've seen many other bands on this, because a lot of them that you just mentioned now were really, I wasn't really interested in them. So
yeah, I'm sure like we've probably seen performances by people on the show like a bunch of times, but just never really made the connection it was from the show. But yeah, I mean, everybody who's anybody was on the show. There's like, if you go to the Wikipedia entry for it, I mean, the Beach Boys, the Bee Gees, David Bowie, Ray Charles, Cheap Trick. They did comedians too. Like they occasionally would have like a stand-up comedian, but Earth, Wind and Fire, ELO, Doobie Brothers, solo Gibb stuff, Thin Lizzy, just name somebody from the 70s, and they were on there. No Deep Purple though, because I think it was probably just too American, and it came in like right towards kind of the end of the Mark II era. So, but yeah, that's what you got here. Check it out. They've got a great YouTube channel with a lot of great stuff. Pretty sure this episode will probably be banned by YouTube by Bert Sugarman himself. Actually, is Bert Sugarman still with us? Let's see.
Where's my royalties?
Burton Roy Sugarman. He's 85 and still with us. Wow.
Oh, 85 and still kicking.
I bet he's just watching. He's like, his finger is like shaking. He's just ready to hit the band. Oh, those Deep Purple guys, if they get on this for that Tommy Bolin, I'm going to ban them. They're not going to let he's not going to let that fly.
I will not let this stand. This shall not stand.
Hasn't made enough in the past 50 years off of this show. I'm sure he's raking in the YouTube revenue. Okay, so yeah, I'll just put this on pause here for a second. We will get going with James Gang featuring Tommy Bolin on the track, as I said, is, if I can find my video here. Here we go. It Must Be Love. Let me know if that video is good. Get Tommy Bolin with the silver blazer here.
Yeah, wow, look at him.
Looks awesome.
Lord, I'm feeling kinda weak in the knees. Somebody help me if I fall down, please.
And this is written by Tommy Bolin and Jeff Cook. And it's great because they're not miming you, they're really doing it.
Oh yeah. Well, look at that. That's Jeff Cook, right?
No, that's Roy Kenner.
Oh, Roy, that's right.
Yeah.
Roy Kenner. Yeah, I knew he was
And yeah, Jeff Cook was just the writer.
right. Yeah, Roy Kenner had those like skunk stripes in his hair from the.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
I thought it was just the light at first.
Yeah,
I mean,
a couple of guys do that around that
It looks
time.
like he actually killed a skunk and I mean, that is a skunk stripe and a half.
Yeah, wild hairdo.
I like that he did that one. And this aired January 25th, 1974.
I hope they show Tommy a little bit more.
He's got that coke fingernail on his pinky.
Yep. What is he doing?
At first, I thought he was using like some sort of effect, but he's just like cupping his hands over his mouth
And like squeezing his nose.
He must be going for like a nasal effect.
Hell yeah. That wasn't enough.
that was way too short.
I was like expecting way more than that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, here he goes. Here he oh. Leaves you waiting more.
But did you see him though? He was just like, he had this fucking like this rig like up to his waist. He's adjusting and everything. It's like, oh boy, this ripping solo is gonna come up.
He started tweaking some knobs and
oh hey, a little Tommy.
Look at the audience just sitting there on their hands.
I know.
You see the 70-year-old people at Deep Purple concerts getting more into it than that. Look at them.
All right, this is what I'm talking about.
He's got like a cool, can't tell if it's like a flange or a chorus effect, but it's really cool. That like natural colored strat he's using.
That drummer does not belong with that friggin' look.
You don't think so?
No.
I mean, yeah, he's got a funny, it's Jim Fox, right? It's Jim Fox.
I don't know. He doesn't, yeah, his just like, you know, scraggly beard, like horn rim glasses. It's like a very weird look. And then you got Tommy, who's all like glitzed out over here in like a completely solid gold type, like suit, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you got skunk hair over there, and then you have this other guy who's just like, you know, I'm on the audio visual squad. You know, there's some. Actually, we didn't even show the bass player.
No, he definitely got the. I don't know if they couldn't get the camera over there or what the deal was. Maybe he pissed off Sugarman. I don't know.
I got the poop end of the stick on that one.
But yeah, a great performance. Very brief, obviously. But you know, they're not going to probably put too much of a long guitar solo on the television. Sorry, I'm relaying cooking instructions upstairs here. But of course, my autocorrect's making it more confusing. Okay, so yeah, I mean, a really good performance. Love Tommy's silver suit from top to bottom. He looked cool as hell. Yeah, and I think like the drummer looked like he had that kind of carryover look from like the early '60s band where they'd have the black rimmed glasses and the short hair, but he just kind of let the hair and the beard all grow out and just left the glasses on.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool because I think you see in the 50s and 60s they had those looks, like even the Beatles, they had them all dress up in suits and everything before Brian Epstein passed, at least. And kind of had those uniform looks and everything, and then got to a point where a lot of bands didn't have that, and then they kind of brought it back to maybe not wearing all the exact same thing, but having like a more unified look. And that's one thing we've commented about Deep Purple before too. There was no
It's no look.
hearkening back to our Days May Come and Days May Go episode where Glenn Hughes is wearing the Mork from Ork suspenders, and then Paice is wearing like no shirt and a leather vest, and John Lord's wearing like some sort of like scarfy sort of thing. So it's like everyone's just kind of doing their own thing, which I kind of like. It, you know, it's a little less I don't know, manufactured looking, when it's just people, like, you just get the sense that this is what these weirdos put on when they they're like, oh, we're playing a show, there's no coordination. They just like, I'm gonna put something cool on, I don't care what anybody thinks.
Well, they were wearing what the style was at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, sort of. I don't know how many silver suits were walking down the street, but it looked damn cool. If you could get away with it, why not? If I walked into work tomorrow with that silver suit on, I think I'd turn a few heads, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay, so they played this show again, and from best I can tell, this is Midnight Special from February 22nd, 1972, and this time when they were on the show, they played The Devil Is Singing Our Song. So here, let's take a watch. Man, that bass sounds great.
Seemed that it would be better to leave and fight. All this time that we have been wrong, fate was against us all along. Tonight I swear, the devil is singing our song.
That'd be great if they sang It's a Great Life.
Yeah, right? Do they on the next one? Probably not.
Oh, well.
Let's see. I don't think so. It looks like he's borrowed Tommy's pants.
Hey, who knows?
He's got the silver pants. Maybe they had like a Gillan and Glover thing going on. You wearing the pants tonight?
Yeah.
Hey, he did the Love Child riff there.
Yeah.
Same guitar. Still hasn't cleaned the frets. They're really good live. I bet we gotta see if we can find some bootlegs or something.
Yeah, they do sound pretty good.
And, you know, like I said earlier, they have to control themselves a little on TV. They're not going to play a 15-minute extended jam, but you know they must have been doing some of that.
Yeah, like live, not on TV.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be the next one. James Gang live, not on TV. We already got a title for the episode. Really good singer. Tommy's letting loose.
Yeah, looking cool as hell here.
Platform shoes.
Cowboy
Wearing
hat.
like that cowboy hat. Racing stripes. He's got another kind of unified looking suit, scarves everywhere.
Yeah, he had a...
He looked like he
What was
raided
that?
Steven Tyler's scarf drawer or something. They've had some pretty good backgrounds too. I don't know if that was just like the background for the show and they were able to like program it for whatever band was on there, but some really cool, like all just name of the band all up in lights. It must have been hot as hell on that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are the two performances from Midnight Special. It gives you a really good sense of the look of the band and the feel of them live, and just looking really good. What do you think about those two?
Yeah, no, they were pretty good. I think, James Gang is probably one of my least favorite Tommy Bolin bands. But I mean, it's still cool to see. I think it's just because they had the least kind of remarkable songs in it. That he was, part of. In my opinion, but it was yeah, it's still cool to see some stuff of his that I haven't seen, and I don't know. It just having not seen him a lot live, it's kind of weird, right? Because we see him in all these pictures, like Deep Purple and stuff, and yeah, he was wearing these like wild outfits and stuff like that. But yeah, he really had a sense of style. He dressed really cool. Like he was like the whole deal there. I mean, he was like a great player and like really had a kind of a cool, unique look too.
Yeah, and I think I had read somewhere that I think Karen had put together like a lot of his outfits, and I think she'd even like made his outfits. I don't know if she was like did like seamstress work or something, but I just remember, I can't remember where I read that, but I think she contributed a lot towards that fashion sense, and having that both of those suits he was wearing were like super cool, like matching blazer and pants, and just like he had the look down.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Yeah, so I think we'll take a little break to thank our patrons, and coming in, of course, this time with our core level patrons at the $7.77 Keep It Warm Rat Vader. Keep It Warm Rat tier. I'm going ahead of myself. Michael Vader, the one and only Michael, Mr. Michael Vader, at the $6.99 new nice price tier, Spike the Rock Cat and Sugar T, who we will be meeting up with Fielding and Spike and Sugar T. Well, I don't know if Spike's going to make it, but at least Fielding and Sugar T at the Detroit show. So I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person. That'd be very cool. At the episode $6.66 tier, we have Steve Coldwell and Arthur Smith.
Getting support from the patron Arthur Smith.
Anton Glaving and Charles Meadows. At the $6.65 almost evil tier, we have Kenny Wymore and Richie Sucksmith. At the $5.99 the nice price tier, Robert Smith and Carl Hellberg. At the 60 kroner Scandinavian Nights tier, we have Newt Martin Johansson. At the $5 money lender tier, John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Alman, Alexei the Perfect Stranger Slepikov, Kev Roberts, Percival Frequency, Scott Zerns, Cynthia Doobie, Raf Calf.
My Czechoslovakian is not so good.
Coyote Bongwater. John Maselli.
Oh yeah, you and Madonna.
Sarah Sanders.
No, Kelly Clarkson!
And Jelly Bean. Thank you so much, all of you, for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. We love you for it. One of these days, I'm just going to call Sarah Sanders Kelly Clarkson. I come close every time. All right. Yeah. But getting back to what you said, I forgot until we were listening to that reprise of It's a Great Life. I think this James Gang stuff is like particularly Bang. I think like when we re-listen to the albums, I have this really real fondness for both those albums in my heart. But I think Bang, in my mind, it is phenomenal album, and Miami was not as strong as I remembered it when we reviewed them, but it's been a while. But I really love Bang.
Yeah, no, I mean it's not bad. I was just saying it's my least favorite of the Tommy Bolin stuff.
It's the least good of the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Still good, but maybe less good.
Less good.
I
a
don't
little-
know. I'm gonna get ripped apart by Tommy Bolin fans. So go
Well,
ahead.
if this doesn't hit YouTube, we might be safe. But it's like another favorite, just not as much favorite. It's another Brian Regan bit when he talks about doing when he played Little League,
Yeah,
and he's like, all he could think about was getting a snow cone after the game.
yeah.
Like, Brian, what's the score? Grape.
I'm gonna get grape.
I'm gonna get grape, but if they don't have grape, I'm gonna get cherry. Cherry's another favorite. If they have grapes more favorite. But it's if they don't, it's like it's okay because I have cherry, and cherry's another favorite, just not as much favorite. Oh, I love it. All right, so that takes us to the next show, which we've got a little bit more video footage from, and that show is as we previously discussed, is called Don Kirshner's Rock Concert. Look at that logo. Oh my goodness. No expense was spared. So Don Kirshner's Rock Concert. This show ran during the 70s and the early 80s. So this started a little after the other one, 73. Initially it was distributed through Viacom. So Viacom is what eventually ended up. I don't know if they started by owning MTV, but at some point they owned MTV, probably through the whole run. So maybe this is, kind of a forerunner to that sort of thing. Last episode was in 1981, right when MTV was starting. So maybe that's it. This was a 90-minute show. It premiered September 27th, 1973 with performances by the Rolling Stones and the Doobie Brothers. This was in the 11:30 time slot, usually held by the Dick Cavett Show. Taped at the Hofstra Playhouse, featured again, like the other show, just a laundry list of bands: B.B. King, Devo, New York Dolls, Ohio Players, Helen Reddy, Todd Rundgren, just going down the list, Steely Dan, Steppenwolf, Van Halen, Wishbone Ash, Stevie Wonder. The list goes on and on and on. Cameo. All right. All sorts of stuff. And again, the Bee Gees and the Gibbs. Both shows had the Bee Gees and the Gibbs on separately. I don't see Kiss in this list, though. Maybe
Kiss. And they were on like 76.
No, Kiss was on in Don Kirshner. Yep.
Yeah, they were.
Don Kirshner. There you go.
Yeah.
The Beagles, also the Beagles. Kiss. So Don Kirshner. There you go. What was Don Kirshner's deal? He was a rock music producer, talent manager, and songwriter. Dubbed the man with the golden ear. So there you go. And Don Kirshner is no longer with us. Passed away in 2011 at 76 in Boca Raton. All right. So for this one, I guess I can stop between the songs, but this is like a short set, like a little 20-minute set that the James Gang did on the show. And let's see. Let's kick it off here. Set up the share. And this is James Gang live on Don Kirshner's Rock Concert. Yeah, I think
he's wearing the silver suit again.
Yeah, it looks almost like the same getup. Nice. Roy Kenner is hyped up on something. So they're opening here with Walk Away.
I wonder what the... Oh, wait a minute.
So this is a Joe Walsh era James Gang song.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder what the what the deal with the performance is, because I mean it's definitely live.
Yep. Making some crazy faces there. So one of the things I noticed, like anytime you look up something James Gang on YouTube with Tommy Bolin, the comments are just inundated with, I don't want to say hate, but it's everything from they were nothing after Joe Walsh left to
Yeah.
this is pretty good, but nothing can replace Joe Walsh.
Well,
You know how it is. No Walsh, no Gang.
haha.
There we go.
See, now I'm just wondering how they decided the performances on these shows, because Kiss did three songs on this, and I'm sorry, it was in '77, but they lip synced,
Oh, okay.
and this is obviously live. So theirs was more like a music video looking format, which I don't know. Maybe it evolved. Maybe it depended on the band.
Yeah, it could have been just maybe they decided later on it's a hell of a lot cheaper to bring the band out and have them just lip sync and mime along to the playing than to set up everything and record it and have a sound guy and all that, when they could just play the tape over the speakers.
Yeah.
Because that would have been 3 years after this. So see how fast I did that math.
Yes.
I think they definitely sweetened that a little. It looks like the crowd is from like a different concert. It's like
It's called The Devil.
well, it's called The Devil Is Singing Our Song. So now we're getting. So is this like the same exact performance? I can't tell if this is the same exact one that would have been on the Burt Sugarman one.
You know what? I don't. But why would Burt Sugarman have this footage?
Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just. But it looks like they're wearing the same things. I mean, for all I know, they just went to a different studio and did it.
Well, I mean, it was probably their stage outfits for around that time.
Wonder if it's like one of like the press pool sometime, when they'd have like a press conference.
Yeah.
Before they had like the unified pool and there'd be like 400 microphones there and one would say ABC, NBC. They just like set up a rock hall and like they got the Burt Sugarman cameras, they got the Don Kirshner cameras, jockeying for position. It's like, Don, I'm telling you, I need this spot this week. You're killing me. You're getting all the good angles. I got good news for you about the next song, John.
What?
Well, you'll see. Let's just say it's a pretty good life.
Oh boy. The video looks like they're blurring out like the tip of his microphone.
Oh yeah, right. I wonder what that is. There was something offensive. Something offensive written on the.
Well, no, maybe they blurred out because it's like, well, it looks like the tip of a penis.
Blur it out.
Gee, I'm not sure what that is.
I think it's just like the windscreen on it. It's like, but it's like light. It's light colored, so it looks like they blurred it out.
It does.
I think it just had like some like just offensive language on it.
Just fuck.
Clever. Clever, Roy.
Yeah, I know we just saw it, but I think this is a different performance.
Yeah, yeah. Great playing by Tommy at the end there. I mean,
Yeah.
through the whole thing, but they cut to like the Rolling Stones concert. Oh no, it says Don Kirshner.
Oh, all right.
Sounds like a sketch of Roy Kenner there.
Yeah, it's like a long-lived
that's like
rock
the-
and roll style.
I think they probably just like spent like one afternoon just filming a bunch of reaction shots from the audience with the Don Kirshner logo behind them, and they just used them through the whole series.
Yeah.
Here we go. It sounds even more like it live.
I know. I love it. I even forgot what song that was part of at this point.
It's become a part of our I don't know what you call it, our shtick.
Yeah. Our lore.
So I think we talked about this. I want to be like Jonathan Seagull. I think we mentioned that.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Livingston Seagull is a story by Richard Bach. I mean, yeah, it sounds even more like Norwegian there. This is great.
Well, I think it's because it's like locked in our brains as that.
Yeah, you know those videos you see that like they say a word, and depending on which words you read,
Yeah.
you hear the other one. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those recently.
don't weaken Norwegian.
Yeah, but
should
even
fi-
like they
here's
do
a
that
good
with
solo
words
here.
that aren't even like close to each other.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh, he's just whacking away on the cowbell in the background there. Oh, the video just had him doing some, he's definitely humping that microphone stand.
Yeah, this guy is he's something else.
I have to fire up the Deep Purple podcast TikTok account and do one of those like "Don't weaken Norwegian," you know. Gotta get that voice though. It's always got that like crazy guy voice.
Yeah.
He was doing the like the Jimi Hendrix like burning guitar fingers.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew he was such a wild frontman, this guy.
He's great. It's not since Angry Pigeon or whatever that we've seen somebody so wild on stage. Roy Kenner's up on stage smashing the cymbals. You know, drummers love that when you do that. Get all up in their business. So they're just having this is just called Little Jam, so they're just having like a minute of jam on the stage here. Going right into Funk 49 here.
Oh.
No, the background vocals aren't really coming through.
No.
Whoa, that was a nice. You see that? Whoa.
This guy is like out of his mind.
Yeah, like he fell all the way backwards and then pushed himself up, like the mic stand was lifting him back up onto his feet. A staple of any. I played this live quite a few times. Fun song to play.
Oof.
Yeah, the mix on the backing vocals is not good.
No, I'd say it's terrible.
It's not so good. Oh, he's going up in the congas, pulling an Ian Gillan. Oh, there's a guitar solo and they're focusing on the singer playing the congas. Cameramen have not changed all these years.
Jesus Christ.
I love that. Like we would always try to do that because like Joe Walsh like screws that part up so bad on the record, and it's just like such a badass move that like we're just gonna keep it. He like totally messes up the going back into the song. It sounds horrible, but it's so ingrained in everybody. You've heard it so many times that
Really?
we would do that when we had the percussion part. What's that?
Yeah. He messed it up on the album?
Oh yeah, it's terrible. It's like he like totally biffs it, and then he goes back in and he like uses the wrong rhythm, and then just eventually figures it out. But it's like one of those badass. It's like the opening of the Lenny Kravitz album where he like his voice cracks on like the second line he delivers, and he's like sitting on top of the world, and he just leaves it in because he's like, I don't care. I'm Lenny Kravitz. I'm the coolest guy on planet Earth. All right, they're back with Standing in the Rain to close it out. But yeah, when we were on stage, I think what they did in the studio, they have all that percussion going on, and they like take out, like I took out my keys, like we take out our keys and shake them in the microphone and just do like that whole break as like a lot. Song is fun to play. See, this is really making me want to listen to Bang again. I'm digging this.
Well, I have to say, after a few songs, even though I said that this is not my favorite stuff that Bolin's been on, I mean, you can't deny that this version of the band here is pretty good. And I mean, this friggin' dude is like, he's killing it live. I mean, he's not only is he really getting into it and he's got the moves and the attitude and everything, but I mean, he's like, doesn't sound bad live. Like he sounds pretty close to the record. So he's got those chops live.
Oh yeah, he's of that school where you had to be a great live singer, and he just really was. Very disciplined, and like, even though he's doing all these like acrobatics, he's still delivering the vocals.
Yeah, I think that makes it even more like impressive, honestly.
Yeah, because sometimes you see like people live they just don't have it, and that's fine. You know, they deliver a audio performance that's not quite as good, but he's bringing it.
Well, I mean, I get it too if you're like a good singer, but you're like running around and doing all this crazy jumping around and shit, you know, you're going to be out of breath. But I mean, for him to do both, pretty impressive.
Oh, a little feedback there. He's doing that like you push the microphone away and then you step on the bass and catch it.
That could go horribly wrong if you don't know what you're doing.
Like stepping on a rake. The little Tweety birds flying around your head.
I'll say at this point, I've made 2 Simpsons references that I'll be very disappointed if Rich and Steve don't get at this point in the episode.
My daughter has been on the couch watching The Simpsons for like 2 straight days.
Atta girl.
So she might be she's only got about 36 seasons left to catch up with you.
Well, that's good parenting right there.
Yeah, letting her just veg out on the couch.
Well, I mean, with The Simpsons, I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's jumping up on top of the amps.
Oh boy, big finish.
Careful, Roy. Oh, and the smoke's coming out. Oh, now he pulled like a David Lee Roth almost. Just didn't do the split when he jumped off of him.
Yeah.
I like the guy in the back was holding him so he didn't fall over.
It's like, Roy, you're getting over your head, buddy.
Easy, Roy. Easy. All right. So yeah, nice. some fun stuff.
I'll admit that those are good Those were good performances.
Yeah,
and I
fun
mean
that
was one of my favorite songs. Like,
yeah, that is a great one
off of the album. And I mean, I do like the James Gang hits. I mean, like Funk 49 and what was the other one they did? The first whatchamacallit, it's got It Must Be Love. Yeah, right.
I always forget it's like a generic song. It Must Be Love. There's so many rock songs about not being sure if it's love.
I know.
Is this love? It must be love. Can it be love?
But I mean, that was like that was on the first one, right? Bob Sugar Shack or whatever his name is.
Bert Sugarman.
Close enough.
Bob Sugar Shack. Sounds like it could be a good restaurant name. Welcome to Bob's Sugar Shack.
What'll I get you? What'll I get you? You want some syrup on your waffles, or do you want some waffles on your waffles?
Do you want some syrup on your waffles? You want to get the hell out of here?
Or do you want some syrup on your syrup, or do you want some sugar on your marshmallow? Actually, it sounded kind of dirty.
Yeah, I'll give you some sugar on your marshmallow.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
All right. Okay, so before we wrap up, we have to thank our foundation level patrons, of course, at the £3 and 50 pence Deep Purple New York tier. We have Lord Longford. At the £3 aromatic feed tier, Simon Ford and Richard Brees. At the $3.33 halfway to evil tier, Stephen Sharp and Duncan Leask. At the $3 Nobody's Perfect tier, we have Peter Gardeau. Ian DeRosier. Mark Roback. Stuart McCord. Ivan Fjeldbu. Runar Simonson. JJ Stannard, Ruinous Inadequacies, Corey Morissette from And the Podcast Will Rock, Ashley, Weston Supermare Pilgrim, Joe Dopefish Sigler, and at the $1.71 I Want My Own tier we have
Rich, Yangui, Shaylor.
At the 10 kroner tier, we have...
Cold, hard Danish kroner.
Sorry, Karsten Lau. Got ahead of myself there with the button press. And at the $1 made-up name tier, we have the Standing in the Drain Leaky Mausoleum, Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 Fanatic, Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashen Lionel,
Blackmore Tights,
Steve Down to Earth Kohler, Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, Anders Engstrom, ICDC, Durple Purple, Purple Swede,
Swede?
David Haddam. Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. All right. So yeah, let us know what you think of our breezy summer format here.
I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I mean, look at this. We just hit an hour here, and that was with like maybe a couple of minutes of bullshit before I press play. So
a couple minutes of bullshit. Usually it's several minutes of bullshit. Now it's only a couple.
Hey, well, you know.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's either take a few weeks off while we're on vacations or do some, little lighter, quicker format shows. You guys are probably all busy too on your summer trips and whatnot. So
yeah, you don't got time to listen to us.
Nor do you want to.
No, of course you do. But yeah, this is I think that these were pretty good performances, unaware that they existed until today.
They've been talking, like the Tommy Bolin groups have been talking about these performances for a while, that there might be more footage and all that sort of stuff. So I would love to see or hear or both a longer format concert, because that's one of those things, like we had done that Captain Beyond live performance years ago. And it was awesome, but it was like the same thing. It was like 20 minutes and it just really left you wanting more. Or for that example, a few weeks ago, we did Gillan, another great show. It was about 30, 35 minutes. And you really wanted to get kind of the sense of what the entire show was like, or an entire show was like. And mostly it's probably because filming was really expensive and they were doing them for these TV shows. So they just recorded parts of them and, showed these abridged versions. But yeah, it would be really great to hear hear it in context of an entire performance, because I think the band was great. Rhythm section's awesome. It's getting to see Tommy play live is obviously very limited in how much you can see. And I think Roy Kenner really delivered an amazing vocal performance. Sounded fantastic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always great to see new, or like for me, new footage of Tommy, especially since there isn't there's only a limited amount
Mhm.
of his stuff,
And who knows
available.
what somebody's sitting on in their basement or something that one day might get unearthed, and we'll be able to see
Yeah.
some more. But luckily, we've got great organizations like Tommy Bolin, or organizations that are uh, uh, keeping keeping the legacy alive and constantly working to unearth things. So,
Yes.
um, yeah, it's really great, you know. Um, so yeah, the Tommy Bolin official site's got lots of stuff there for you to check out, and they've got a great YouTube presence where they're constantly showing things like this. So keep checking it out. And yeah, so I'm off to the pool for water polo to watch,
Uh,
not to play, thankfully.
we'll have a good time. Well, now we've wrapped up super early. This is usually like 45 minutes to an hour before we usually start recording.
I
So
know.
now
I'm gonna have
I can
dinner. I'm gonna go in the
go make
pool,
some
watch a water
dinner.
polo game. Yeah.
Yeah, go make some dinner. I can flop over on that couch behind me and
Yeah.
do nothing. Yeah, it's all good.
You're given lots of options of things you could do. Most of them are nothing.
Yeah, this breezy summer format sounds like my breezy winter format, like staying in the house.
Staying in the house, curled up under some blankets, drink some hot cocoa. It's 97 degrees outside.
Oh geez, well
Um,
there's no, honestly, like, I mean, some people think I'm like ridiculous for it, but I mean, come on, when you, especially when it's like a like really hot day or whatever, and you're blasting the AC
mhm.
and it gets so cold in your house that you have to put on like a sweatshirt or something, then
It's
that's the ultimate.
it's the absolute best.
Yeah.
I grew up and lived in my parents' house with no air conditioning on the top floor, baking in that heat my entire childhood. Um, so I earned the right to crank the AC and wear a blanket
There you
in
go.
July or whatever. So. All right, John.
All
Well,
right.
we'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Deep Purple Podcast. If you like what you hear and would like more episodes in the future, please donate on Patreon to support the show. You can also leave us a review in Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for show updates. See deeppurplepodcast.com for more details. Thank you for listening.